So, very good morning to all of you, Your Eminence, Cardinal Tuxon, Your Excellency, Archbishop Marek, distinguished guests, and all of you who come for this conference. I've been tasked to introduce this opening address by speaking to you about integral development in the Archdiocese. But before we do that, I think it's very important that we situate ourselves so that you could understand the trust of the Archdiocese in ensuring that integral development is taking place. First and foremost, let me begin by quoting from Blessed Paul VI in his encyclical Popularum Progressio. He said it is the design of God that every man develops and fulfills himself, because life itself is a vocation. In saying this, he gives us the foundational orientation in all that we are doing. That is the basis for advocacy of an integral human development. But it's important to realize this. When we speak of integral development, it has to be understood in the perspective of a divine call. The fact that Blessed Paul VI says it is a vocation. A vocation means that it comes from outside of us. It is derived from God. So when we speak of human development, we are speaking of integral development, which therefore must include spiritual development. Man cannot find self-fulfillment because God is the ultimate fulfillment for himself. Man without God has no meaning, no purpose. Man is not just simply an atom lost in a random universe. Man is created in the image and likeness of God. And therefore, the whole of creation, not just humanity, but the whole earth, are all moving towards God and find fulfillment in God. That is the ultimate goal of creation. And for this reason, when we speak about integral development, we need to be wary that we do not hand over our lives to science and technology. Science and technology without the guidance of man will dehumanize humanity, will destroy humanity. And this is what is being done, unfortunately. Cloning, euthanasia, in vitro fertilization, all these, they are supposed to be the work of science. But without the man making use of this advancement in technology properly, technology will destroy us, especially the areas of armament. That is why it is important that we develop not just the physical, material growth of the person. Progress and development must take into consideration the ethical, moral, and spiritual growth. Secondly, when Blessed Paul VI speaks about vocation, it also means that humanity cannot explain itself. Humanity cannot answer the question that all human beings are asking. Who am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose in life? Why is there suffering? Why there's injustice? Where do I go after death? Only Christ, who is the God-man, the revealer of the Father, the source of creation, the submit, where we return to, only Christ can give us that answer. That is why, because of the incarnation, as we have seen just now, the true identity of Jesus, truly human, truly divine. Because of the incarnation, everything on this earth has been assumed by our Lord. And therefore, we cannot disdain what is human, what is natural. Therefore, integral development will encompass every dimension of humanity, whether social, psychological, physical, material, and especially spiritual. And it's for this reason that the church looks towards Jesus to help us to form the true man. Because only Jesus is the true man, because he is true God. Because he is fully in God, that is why he can be fully a man. For this reason, a man cut off from God will be incomplete. And that is the problem of the world today. Those countries that impose atheism or foster atheism, they are doing it at the expense of the integral development of their people. You cannot deny the fact that men's hearts are restless until they rest in God. By not giving the spiritual needs of the people, by hindering their spiritual growth, we are depriving them of true happiness in life, here on earth and in heaven. And so it is in this perspective that the church is very much into social justice, equality. We promote the social mission of the church in reaching out to the poor, in caring for those who are in need, because they are our brothers and sisters. You know, it is said, the irony today, in a globalized village, all of us are neighbors. That is true. But not all of us are brothers and sisters. Only those who know God as Father, they are brothers and sisters. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, in the light of what I have just said, these are the foundations that drive us and that drive me in my 10 years pastoral plan. You know that our pastoral plan, in this 10-year pastoral plan, we are to build a vibrant, evangelistic, missionary church. And this can come about two-pronged. And I always said many times, the church breathes with two lungs: faith and charity. Faith in Christ, but faith without good works is dead. It must be seen in charity, in love, in service. And so, you will notice that in the Archdiocese, these two-pronged approach, they continue and we grow them at the same time. In the area of spiritual doctrinal formation, we have invested money, resources, especially on the Office of New Evangelization, to help our people to be more missionary, evangelistic minded, to train our people to be evangelizers. We have the Catholic Spiritualist Center to provide that spiritual foundation for all that we do. Otherwise, our work will be mere humanitarian work, rather than driven by God's love for us and God's love for them. Besides the Catholic Spiritual Center, we have CTIS, the Catholic Theological Institute, to form our people in terms of doctrine, in terms of the teachings of the church. Beyond this kind of formation, it is also important for the church. When we talk about integral development, we are thinking in terms of the young. Again, here we have pumped in resources to the Office of Young People, because that is a very important niche in integral development. They are the future leaders of the church, or they are already the leaders of the church. And they are in the tertiary. And this is where we tap their strength, their energy. In the area of formation, with the Office of Catechetics, because we know that when we talk about integral development, it begins when they are young. It's too late to try to engage the young people when they have left the church. We have to engage them when they are young. And this is where, in line with the young, we think in terms of the Archdiocesan Council of Catholic Schools. And this is a wonderful development in our church, because with the ACCS, we have formed the Council for Catholic Principals, or Principals of Catholic Schools. And they have been working together to promote Catholic ethos in our schools, so that our children will not just be trained and formed academically, but also given the right moral and spiritual formation, so that they can be truly selfless, passionate leaders for the country, for society. Overarching this, we have the Archdiocesan Commission for the Family, a very important umbrella body that have about 14 or 15 organizations under that umbrella, dealing with family life, marriage encounter, engagement encounter, empowerment program, mentors program, and so on. Because the family is the place where we talk about development of our young people. But the church is not and cannot be inward-looking. And that is also my fear. I think sometimes we Catholics, we are too inward-looking, too parochial-minded. The church is also, the mission is art extra to the world. And this is where the social mission, Caritas and Caris. Caritas, as you see, there are 25 affiliated organizations. Caris have 20 organizations that are helping the poor overseas. Caritas helping the poor in Singapore. And all these organizations, most of them, they are pioneered, started by our laity, not by priests, not by religious. That is the great thing about our social mission, that our people are committed towards reaching out to the poor. We know the Catholic welfare, for example, there are 5 nursing homes under their care. We have 1 Catholic hospitals. We have 35 Catholic schools. And St. Vincent de Paul reaches out to the poor living in the parish in a very personal way. Wonderful work is being done by our charitable organizations. In fact, I think if we were to be proud of the church, I would think in terms of social mission, we have done relatively well. But that is not all. In terms of human development, we also engage in interreligious dialogue. I told you the church cannot be inward-looking. And we have beautiful relationship with leaders and members of different religions. We gather together, I attend their festivals, I attend their celebration. We have regular meetings all the time to make sure that all of us understand each other, respect each other, and in case of misunderstanding, we solve it on the personal level. And the great thing is about in Singapore, although we are the most diverse religious country with so many religions, we are very much united. This is part of what we call of the outreach, to help every human person at least to find spiritual growth. Over and above, in terms of human development, what have we done? We have great engagement with the government. Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Social and Family, MCCYS, Community, Culture, Youth, Sports. The church holds regular meetings with them. In fact, they are the ones who are asking for meeting. We never ask for the meeting. And they are always consulting the church on the social, moral development of our people. Always done behind closed doors. And the government is very keen to ensure that our people are properly formed. And that is why consultation is always taking place. When it comes to social, in terms of justice, equality, and the spiritual formation of people. And the government is serious in this, and that is why we are partners. The government in Singapore is a secular government, but it is not secularistic. It's not anti-religions. In fact, the government sees religions as good partners for the same purpose, same goal. What is our goal? For the development of our people, for the progress of the country. And that is why the government considers religions as partners in the whole process of integral development. So serious in this partnership, in case you don't know, all the main religions are represented in two presidential councils. The Presidential Council for Minority Rights, to ensure that policies, all the bills passed by Parliament, have to be endorsed by the President Council of Minority Rights, to ensure that none of the bills will discriminate anyone, especially from minority, race, language, religion. And then the four main religions are also represented in the Presidential Council for Religious Harmony, to ensure there is mutual respect and there is harmony among all religions. And I'm a member of both. The church has a voice, but it is a diplomatic voice. It is the voice of engagement, of dialogue. There are some of you who think the church is keeping quiet on issues. No, we are always speaking, but we don't want to speak for everybody to hear and cause more problems. If you have family quarrels, what do? You settle it behind closed door. What is important is at the end, a consensus is reached. It's not speaking loudly, announcing to the whole world. We do not champion our cause. We champion the cause of our people. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, having said so much, all the things I've said seems to be very good. If you ask me what the three, what we call things lacking in the Archdiocese, three weaknesses, okay? First weakness, lack of alignment. Yes, there are so many social organizations plus faith organizations. I feel that we can do more in terms of alignment of mission. That is the feeling that I get. Each organization, on your own, you're doing very well. But some of you are working in silo. It is about your organization. It is not about the mission of the whole church. We are collaborators. We are not competitors. We must support each other. There is only one mission. For God, for the people. When an organization is inward-looking, parochial-minded, competitive, uncooperative, then it doesn't do us good. Our mission becomes less effective. Secondly, the other weakness is this. Although many of our people are involved in social organizations, I'm afraid in terms of spiritual, doctrinal growth, that is lacking. People like to do things. That's the whole problem with our Catholics. They want to be involved in this organization, that organization, doing lots of things. Do they pray? They never pray. Do they know the teaching of the church? They do not know. If you serve without a strong spiritual doctrinal formation, you will end up frustrated when things do not turn out well. When the demands are beyond capacity, you become disillusioned. That is the great danger. And then all social work becomes pure humanitarian work, not motivated by Christ. And finally, the third weakness of the church is this, and this is where Your Eminence Cardinal Turkson, you have to speak more on this. It is the question of our ecological commitments. We are a rich country. Don't tell the people to turn down their aircon. Don't tell the people to don't throw away food. We throw away food. Our aircon we put until 16 degrees, as if we are in London or in Canada. All the things we do not do. So our ecological commitment, for me, is just a lip service. Even recycling is very poor. Most of us, we just want to enjoy, but we are not willing to make the sacrifice. And I think this is an area perhaps we really need to consider. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Grace. Thank you.